Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Occult Rejects, another episode of Rustic Gods. We are your host. I am Jules, the host of the Gray Pilled Podcast, the handsome Hierophant, the Mississippi Mystic. You know who I am. And I am joined by my illustrious co-host, the Pharaoh Pagan himself, Headless Giant. What's going on, brother? How we doing this evening? Happy Souls Day, sir.
How's it going? Thank you so much. So this one's going to be a little bit spicy, I think. So if you've been watching the Rustic Gods so far, I don't think they've gotten as political as this one. I think it's time. We need to talk about this because there's something that's missing from our society that has been missing for a long time. And we're going to be getting into it, but a lot of this has to do with Hestia, right? And Hestia isn't just the goddess of hearth and home. She's also a civic goddess as well. So you have the eternal flames that were going on in Rome, for instance. It was a flame to Vestia. And Vestia and Hestia are almost identical. But the reason why it was so important for them and for their society is because it represented something, it represented a departure from the rest of the world, right? Just like your hearth, just like your home is a departure from the rest of the world outside. Also, the hearth and the eternal flames going on in Greece and Rome represented something different from the rest of the world. It was their distinctiveness that really stood apart. And so let's get into it. I've got
guys.
Theoi pulled up.
Well, here, let's pull that up. Guys, be sure to like the stream. Go ahead and like it. You know it's going to be a banger. Be sure to share it as well. Get some more people in here. Friends and family. Send it to your grandma. Stitches, what's going on? It's good to see you, man. Hope everybody's had a good weekend. Like I said, Happy Souls Day. Almost back to the Moon's Day. Manny on the Moon. That's that. Got some episodes coming, guys. Got Stein Fox from the Greyhorn Pagans coming on next weekend, I believe, and the Veritas Road as well on the same day, just that evening. On the Thursday after that, I believe I have Aeon Bite coming on, so stoked for that. Got Jacob from Rise to Liberty coming on very soon, and then we got Brandon from Magus and the Media booked as well. Those are the only shows as of now. Oh yeah, I'm going back on the Treble Show in April, so y'all look out for that. As well as a couple other episodes I had or shows I had been on in the past couple months. Those episodes will be dropping on my channel. Q, good to see you. Let's fucking go. All right, and Nick may join us. He may not. Who knows? But this is episode 12 of Rustic Gods. It's a show me and Headless do. Where you choose a rustic god basically, and then you teach me about him. I'm the student here, so, and you are the teacher, man. So I appreciate you being here with me. And this is a fun show.
This is another departure. I think we've sort of exhausted the rustic gods. We talked about the giants last time, which are not as rustic, and Hestia is decidedly not rustic at all, right? So
really,
there are interactions with the rustic gods, like she has an incident with our good buddy Priapus, very rustic god, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But this is very much the urban center, the heart, the beating heart of the empire, right? That's sort of what this flame represents. It represents distinctiveness. It represents the house and the home being distinctive from the rest of the world. And it represents how this eternal flame in the middle of these cities represented the beating heart of those cities, their distinctiveness. And it's interesting that you bring up Souls Day. What is a soul?
Well, our soul, right? That divine part of us that's connected to the source, you know?
Partially. That's more of a
partially. That's just one of many definitions for it, right? Soul being the sun too.
Right. But here's the interesting part. So you've got salt, sulfur, and mercury within the alchemical context. And the sulfur specifically would be like this, the soul right? The salt, sulfur, mercury is body, soul, and spirit. And the soul specifically is the distinctiveness of the given plant or life form that makes it different from all the other living things around it, right? So when you think about the soul, this is what makes you distinct from everybody else. So selling your soul makes you like an interchangeable unit. You're no longer in control of yourself. You no longer have the will to do the certain things that you wanted to do. You've gotten rid of that for some other form of life. So that's also very much a part of the Hestian idea as well. This is distinctiveness, right? So let's start here. Hestia was the virgin goddess. Why virgin? Why do you think virgin?
She's pure.
Very much uncorrupted, not taking agreements, as we were talking about with the
Apollo and Poseidon, right?
They tried to get in the pants.
Yeah, they both tried to get in there. Smash.
Right. Will not allow others to smash, right?
And then she gave an oath to you said she gave an oath to Zeus, right? That she would never marry. She was dedicated.
Now, why are these things important? Now, we've talked about Zeus's head before, right? This is where Athena pops out, right? So she's swearing an oath on his head, which is like the source or this imagination center for the rest of the universe. So in the Delphic or the Orphic hymn to Zeus, they talk about how all things around his head is altered and shines. What does that mean? Well, Zeus's head is like the source of creation. When you see all of these things popping out of it, this is how we're like imagined into existence by this mind of Zeus, right? So he was seen as kind of a schemer as well. So all of these schemes and how they play out, Zeus is like the fourth or fifth relative to all of the ancient Greek heroes, right? So he's stepping in at different points throughout the generation of these heroes and injecting more of his divine seed so that he can create the heroes.
That sounds an awful lot like Enki, dude. Bro, right. Wait, you're saying Zeus does this?
Yeah. If you look at the family lineage of people like Perseus, right? Zeus is in his family tree like 3 or 4 times.
That's like Enki creating fucking Gilgamesh, dude. Wow. I never related Enki to Zeus or that connection, but there you go again. We were talking about this before. When you get from the Semitic desert pantheons to the northern mountainous forestry, or forested, I guess you would say, kind of European pantheons, it's a completely different dichotomy almost. Symbolism, the themes and the stories, the roles that they play. It's crazy when you actually look at it. Me coming from Elohim etymology to getting into the rustic gods with you and like reading the Volsunga sagas and stuff. It's a completely different world. A lot more beautiful. I'll say that.
A lot of people try to syncretize all the distinctiveness away from it, right? And you see this over and over again. The Romans, syncretism was their religion. So they attempted to syncretize everything when they invaded Britain, and they sort of waged a holy war there and tried to syncretize all of their gods up there with Roman gods to remove their distinctiveness. If you can picture a druid in your head, he's dressed like a Greek philosopher.
Yeah, and he has some oak leaves around his head. And that there goes your halo symbolism, right? You just talked about Zeus as the emanating light. The halo that comes from our aura. I'm sure you aura view, dude. I mean, if you look around the neck, I mean, it's more of like a yellow color, like that of the sun, the rays of the sun, and that goes to the king's crown, right? The haircut of monks. I bring that up. I'm beating a dead horse with the monks there, but
Right. But the idea there is that these different societies maybe had the same seeds, but they focus on different attributes. Right. So this is how cultural diffusion works, is once you've introduced an idea into that society, that idea is multifaceted. There's lots of different, sections attached to it. And in that case, they choose what they focus on from these different ones. So as you were looking up in your book, you had a syncretism with Hestia to the wife of who?
Inky. It was something. It was just research long ago that I was doing. I mean, if her name's Damkina, she is a Assyrian Mesopotamian deity goddess. But now, I mean, she could have some kind of connection to it because of how close she was to Zeus. And I'm seeing these, kind of parallels in these themes to these other gods. So
what did the Greeks choose to focus on versus what the Sumerians and the Akkadians chose to focus on over there too, right? Same gem, different facet. Right. So that's part of maintaining that distinctiveness as a civilization. So let's go through this here.
Well, and also the Greeks were about building, dude. All these Sumerian gods did was destroy. That's all they did. Ninurta and Nergal are riding through the desert, like fucking blowing out all the Marduk cities. Like, yeah, kill all the children, kill all the animals. It's like, holy shit. And then you look at the Old Testament and it's like, wait a minute, what's going on? This is it's like Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, and you're like, well, I don't know about that. You go to these older interpretations say that this is, a god of war and a god of the underworld that are doing this. But right. They're interpreted through one lens as archangels.
It all depends on which facet of the gem you choose to focus on.
What gem are you working out at?
Well, right now I'm on that Greek gem. That Greek gem is what I'm stuck on. So I'm sticking with that distinctiveness, right? So as the goddess of the family hearth, she presided over the cooking of the bread, the preparation of the family meal. Hestia was also the goddess of sacrificial flame and received a share of every sacrifice to the gods. Every time you sacrifice to the gods,
a little bit went to Hestia.
A portion for her. She was so vitally important that they made it a ritual to specifically sacrifice to her every time they sacrificed. The cooking of the communal feast and sacrificial meat was part of her domain. So not only was she allotted a portion, she was in charge of how it was cooked as well. Right. So in the myth, Hestia was firstborn child of Kronos. So of the Olympian gods, she comes first, right? And as we were saying again,
he didn't eat her?
Yes, he did.
Oh, he ate her. Oh, shit.
He ate her. Yeah, he ate her along with all the rest of them other than Zeus, the youngest. Right? So in the myth, Hestia was firstborn of Kronos and Rhea, and who was swallowed by her father at birth. Zeus later forced the old Titan to disgorge Hestia and her siblings. As the first to be swallowed, she was also the last to be disgorged. So the first thing that's swallowed is the distinctiveness, and the last thing you get back is that distinctiveness, the home, the separation from the rest of the world. Something to keep in mind. She was named both the eldest and the youngest of the 6 Cronades. When the gods Apollyon or Apollo and Poseidon sought for her hand in marriage, Hestia refused and asked Zeus to let her remain an eternal virgin, always distinct, never tied to anybody else, always focused on her people and her people alone. Are you seeing why this is getting spicy? Because this Hestia goddess had to go if you were going to implement Christianity. She had to be out of the picture, because Once she's gone, once you smash all of her idols, once you smash all of her temples,
You
they
kill the
lose
egregore.
distinctiveness. And that's the point of Romans chapter 11 when they talk about how they are the root and you are the branches, right? The Jews are the root, you are the branches. So you are grafted on, you are quite literally deracinated from your people and made no longer distinct from the rest of the plant. Deracinated from your roots. And that's what they're talking in Romans chapter 11, the whole chapter. If you go through it, you're like, ooh, wait a second. So we can't be distinctive. We actually have to be subservient and in a new context to the rest of our ancestors. And you could find this over and over again. By destroying the gods, they destroy your connection to your roots, right? Hestia refused, asked Zeus. Hestia was depicted as an Athenian vase painting as modestly veiled woman, sometimes holding a flowered branch, perhaps a chaste tree. In classical sculpture, she was also, chaste as in virginal.
Let me look that up.
She was veiled with a kettle as her attribute. Again, she ain't mixing anything else in that pot except for what comes from those people, right? That's what you're bringing is the gifts of your people. That's why she was so important, I believe. So this is the encyclopedia. So Hestia Ion, the goddess of hearth, or rather the fire burning on the hearth, was regarded.
So what is the hearth? Because this was in the Delphic Maxims yesterday. Guys, if you're a Patreon member, well, because I have now made it private on all the channels, we stream the Gods of the Morning Woods live, and then they go private to the Grateful Patreon not too long after. I actually waited a whole day this time. So I think a lot of people got to see it, especially on Rumble, close to 1,000. But it's over there on Patreon. We got about 50 of them that we've done, all on different books. We spin a wheel, and we went over the Delphic Maxims. Well, we went over the Nag Hammadi, the Sanctum Regnum of Tarot, and then the Delphic Maxims. And one of the Delphic Maxims was, I believe, always stay true to the hearth, right?
Stay true to the hearth.
So what's the hearth? Explain the hearth.
So when you were growing up, did you have a fireplace as a kid?
No. I lived in Jackson.
Where do you, right. Well, where do you put the stockings, right? Where do you put the stockings on Christmas? You put that on the gas.
We had a gas furnace, I guess. So like we put them above
just
there.
Classical imagery, right? You've got all of
place now.
Right. You've got the soles of your feet being dried at the hearth, right?
Right. Your stockings.
Your stockings are dried at the hearth. This is where they would put the little treats, right? So the idea of the hearth is kind of at the center of the home because it's got to heat everything, right? Yeah. And it's the altar where you sacrifice as well.
Not anymore, Lucy. Not anymore.
Right. So this is the place where you come together as a family. This is what you gather around. This is the heart of the home. The hearth is the heart.
Right.
Right. And so not just, I mean, this is where all of the cooking would take place. This is where, again, this is why you would sacrifice.
This is where you would sit and tell stories, teach your kids about your customs and your traditions. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So this is the heart of the home and the heart of the family. This is where people come together to warm themselves in the winter and tell stories in the summer, right? This is really at the heart of Greek civilization is this flame. This is why it was so important in civics as well, because you wanted not only the people to have a hearth at home, but also to have a central gathering point that other people were not allowed to fuck with, right? You don't want people to fuck with your heart.
Get the fuck off my heart. Yeah, get off my heart.
Exactly. So here's what they have to say. So she was therefore the first children that was swallowed by Kronos. She was like Artemis and Athena, a maiden divinity. And when Apollo and Poseidon sued for her hand, she swore by the head of Zeus to remain a virgin forever. She remains free forever. Again, like Artemis and like Athena, what they're saying is that I will remain free of any other influences. I won't be loyal to anybody but my own. Athena is named specifically after Athens. They weren't saying that our maidens are all going to be barren. What they were saying is that Athena is a higher concept than just an ordinary woman. This is divinity. This is their sovereignty.
Well, dude,
right?
yeah.
Artemis is sovereign of the wilderness.
And yeah, look in the Orlando, you have the priestesses, right? That led, and then you get up into the north and you have shield maidens, right? That fought beside their husbands. You know what I mean? Like it's which is beautiful. I think you're fighting for the same cause. You're fighting for a future for your children and, your land, your blood and soil. And, people can use that terminology how they want. But it is what it is. Right.
Right.
I think everyone should be prideful of where they originate from. Everyone. So.
Well, we can see what happens when you're not.
Oh, yeah. Or when yeah.
You get destroyed. Right? You get destroyed. This is a famous quote by let me see here. There was I always blank on this name. I don't know why,
who?
But the guys in the 300, right?
Well, who? Leonidas?
Well, not Leonidas, but it was another general from that same tribe. He said, if you worship your enemy's gods, you are enslaved. If you breed with your enemy, you are destroyed. Right? They're specifically talking about
holy shit, dude. Hold on. Can you please repeat that, Headless?
Yeah, I got to get the quote pulled up, but it's so poetic and beautiful. It's I just always forget his name. Anyways, let me go back to
Hestia. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah. Keep talking. I'll find it.
Right. So she gets rid of Apollo and Poseidon. Now Poseidon represents sea power. So this would be the Canaanite Phoenicians and the Minoans are represented by Poseidon. Right. And so Poseidon is always seen as sort of a kind of quasi.
I have it. I have it. If you worship your enemy, you are defeated. If you adopt your enemy's religion, you are enslaved. If you breed with your enemy, you are destroyed.
I mean, how much clearer could it be? 700 BC, they're saying this. And we've completely lost sight of it intentionally. I believe you got some pictures to pull up from what they did to the Hestian sculptures to kind of prove that point.
You have those?
Oh, no, I thought you did.
Oh, well, yeah, I have, let me see. I have some pictures we can pull up of Hestia. Not particularly, well, here. I don't think I found any sculptures. I had just brought it up because we did an episode on Plato yesterday on the Occult Rejects. It was almost 3 hours long, and I feel like my brain grew from it. And so I just was looking at just these pictures of these guys they were talking about, and a lot of their noses were hacked off. And so I felt to bring it up to you. I didn't have any particularly pulled up. I found this one very interesting of Hestia, or is this Vesta? I know I had brought up Vesta and asked you if she had anything to do with Hestia, and you said it's basically the same. Is this Vesta, the Roman, or no, that's Greek up top, right?
Well, again, during that period, they had pretty much integrated both of them. Vestia and Hestia are very similar, but the idea, again, the central figure, she's surrounded by children, she's surrounded by adoring people, and like they're all holding different sacraments to her. So
fish, I see. Are those vases or vases with flowers in them? What kind of flowers are those?
Oh,
it's open, so I don't think it froze. What does this person have on the right? Was that like a box, maybe some jewelry or some gems?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. What did they offer up to Hestia?
Right, and she's sort of like in the position of the Empress card from the tarot, right? So Hestia and the Empress card are very, very linked. So
Okay. Oh, I see what you mean. Here,
yeah,
hold on. Dude, I may get that quote tattooed on me. That's serious
and who was the
knowledge.
guy who said it?
I think it was Leonidas.
It was Leonidas that said that. Wow.
Yeah. You said this was like the Empress tarot card?
Empress tarot card, and you can see the halo around her head and everything too.
Oh, wow. Hold on. Yeah, dude. Here, let me share this real fast, guys. Share it. StreamYard, dude. I need to learn how to do OBS. I've said that for a year now, but
yeah.
Let's see. So I'm trying to. There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, got the sun. Hold on. Let's see if we can find a better one. I can't be cool like you guys and just pull out a deck. I see what you're saying, though.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the Crowley
one. Has a cat head, dude.
Crowley tarot one. If you
What's up?
If you pull up, okay, you're hovering over it. You're the one with the Crowley. I don't have my Crowley deck on yet. Otherwise, I'll pull it out.
What, this?
The one with the three empresses. No, the three empresses next to each other. The one in the middle is the Crowley deck one. That's the thumb.
Really?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
There's a double-headed eagle on the shield.
Right.
Was that a swan?
So that's the one I was envisioning when you were showing me that other picture, is because look at the orbs around her and look at how, she's sort of facing. Now, some of them have her sort of canted off to one side or another, but others have her more, straight faced on.
She almost looks like an Undine.
There is that watery aspect too.
Yeah. No, look at her tail or her legs. You don't see any feet.
It's true.
I mean, obviously, you see the outline of the legs, but I'm going to ignore that and just act like, maybe it could. It could, who knows? Who knows?
Well, even beluga whales have two bones that go down their tail.
Almost like the two orbs are eyes. And I don't know, dude. I may just be seeing something. Whoa, man. If you look upside down, it looks like a beak on like a silly duck.
Yeah.
Almost like the
silly duck.
What? Sorry.
I love it, but there's a swan in there too, right?
Swan
and swans were always pictures of
it's a silly goose. Silly goose.
Very clearly.
Sorry. I'll stop. Okay.
I love it.
I know you do. Here. I'm adding it. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Awesome.
You got it?
Awesome.
How does it look?
Yeah, let me.
Let's see.
Probably all the ads.
Y'all like our background, guys? Shout out Grok for making that.
Yeah, they are marching
you got the golden ass. You got Chiron. You got Pan. You got Eros and Psyche. You got Artemis. You got the golden ass himself. Could also be interpreted as Priapus because of the donkey. We talked. I didn't want to put a giant, fascinous on there or anything. We're not going to make it phallic. We're not going to do that. I'll make one. I don't know. We'll see. I'll make some fun art or something. I have a lot of designs. I'll share my merch at the end of the show, guys. I have merch. I still have to order some myself. But anyway, headless.
You know what would be great is that Leonidas quote with Hestia on it, tending to the fire. That would be awesome.
So, a good tattoo, but that would probably be that quote on a scroll or something, maybe with Hestia by it, or Hestia holding the scroll with that on it. I don't know.
Lots of interesting parallels, though. So she swore by Zeus's head to remain a virgin forever. And in this character, it was that her sacrifices consisted of cows, which were only 1 year old. The connection between Hestia and Apollo and Poseidon, which thus alluded to in legend, appears also at the temple at Delphi, where the three divinities were worshipped in common. Hestia and again, the Poseidon is that watery angle. You can find that watery angle right there in that tarot card as well. Appeared together also at Olympia, where the Olympic Games were held. As the hearth was looked upon as the sacred center of domestic life, so Hestia was the goddess of that dwells in the inner part of every house, right? So, all of the ideas of having an altar and placing your wishes and your hopes and everything else at that altar is like the heart of the home. This is the focal point for everything.
Well, as sorry, I mean to interrupt, but I was going to say, you had also said, like, when you get home from work, you've had a hard day, like you leave all your stuff at the door, right? Because you don't want to shit where you eat. You don't, and I'm sure that's another Delphic maxim, right? So
pretty much, yeah.
You don't want to disrespect the hearth.
That goes into making agreements again, right? So if you're making agreements that are stressing you out and frustrating you, you don't have a shot at having a happy home life, because all you're going to be thinking about is what you've agreed to outside of that home. And your home has to be distinctive from the rest of the world for you to be happy, right? So you've got to be able to separate the two, home and the rest of the world, for you to be distinctive. If all you're doing is bringing all those troubles and difficulties back in with you, what's the point? But it also means that you have to go out there and struggle, right? Because that's part of it too. You've got to get out there and struggle so that domestic happiness and blessing can also be there as well. So the struggle is a part of life on the outside, and you don't want that struggle on the inside, right?
Absolutely.
So as the hearth was looked upon as the sacred center of domestic life, so Hestia was the goddess of domestic life and the giver of all domestic happiness and blessings. And as such, she was believed to dwell in the inner part of every home, to have invented the art of building houses. What do I keep saying about god of time, goddess of space?
Who?
Building houses, right? So the space on the interior of the home is like seen as the womb of the goddess, right? Very different from the other animals. Like we reside where we live is like the womb of the goddess. So
wow, that's beautifully put, dude.
Indeed. I mean, if you start boiling down the symbolic meaning behind a lot of what we do, you can see why we're distinctive from the animals, right? We have a different way of doing it. And dreaming inside of the womb of a goddess sounds a lot more poetic and wonderful than just, I laid down and I went to sleep and then I started hallucinating. Right?
Yeah, dude.
I've heard people describe it that way, and it's like, no, you're missing something. This is like a reflection of the divine creator and the mind of Zeus, But anyways, let's see here. She was the goddess of domestic. No, let me see. Art of building houses. In this respect, she appears often together with Hermes, who likewise a deus penetralis. Deus penetralis. Do you want to look that up for me? Deus penetralis. It sounds like the gods that move between spaces. Penetralis.
I know. I was going to say.
It's Greek.
Deus. That's Deus.
Yep. Let
Right.
me highlight it.
There we go. Deus penetralis. De Penteus or Penatus. Okay, Deus penetralis or Penatus refers to the Roman household gods or guardians of the innermost part of the home, the pantry or penis. Sorry.
There we go.
I'm sorry. I'm immature, guys. I'm
Have you ever
seen 33?
Have you ever seen the Hermes? These were called tintinnabulums.
We've
I
talked
think I
about
talked
this.
about it before, right?
They
The
were honored.
tintinnabulums had these huge hogs
All
because the
right.
penetralia,
You want to do this?
right? Bring them up.
Well, here, hold on. I did want to say it is often associated with the Roman Penatus, household gods of the pantry and her shrine, or refers to a god like Jupiter invoked in the penetrail shrine. It signifies a deity of the innermost sanctuary. All I did was go back and it changed it completely from like the Greek kind of ask. Yeah, I don't know. That's cool how Google did that. I guess I don't know. What you said it was the tintinnabulum, right?
Yeah, tintinnabulum.
Okay, here we go, guys. This is going to bring us back to a past episode. And this is this is what we do on Rustic Gods. We have to look into all of it, right? So this is very
all of the
similar
gods
to
are
the fashionists.
self-referential,
Oh
right?
my
All
God.
of the gods are self-referential. So when you find Deus penetralis and it has to do with the penis, and this is a wind chime that's hanging out in front of your home, you have to wonder: is there something more to this?
The penis has a penis.
The penis has a penis has a penis. Yeah.
And there's bells on the penis, dude. That's incredible.
Right. Also part of having a happy life. Now, again, we've converted this into happy wife, happy life, but
you don't want your wife using this. All right.
Right. So they were saying something else, like the only way that you can have a happy wife is by having
is if you have one of these hanging up. Well, it probably did bring like guaranteed fertility, right?
Right. Again, it's the fertility. It's fertility maxing, right?
Oh, whoa, what's this? That's not
what do mushrooms look like?
That's cool that there's one. Well, of course, there's one named tintinnabulum. Oh, there you go. There's another one. Oh my God.
Well, the one specifically with the penis is coming out of the ears, that's Hermes, because he's got the Hermes cap on.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. Whoever made that.
Good for you.
Yeah,
that's
good for you.
There's again, like the idea of
that's like a fashionist that you would put around your neck or something.
Right, because this is how they kept the evil eye away, is with the fig and the phallus. The fig and the phallus, right? The fig and the phallus.
The fig represents the female, right?
Yeah, the clitoris. And the phallus represents the male organ. But the idea is that when these things are strong, you're happy people, right? It's all of these stupid commercials about Cialis all over the place is like the opposite, right? Your Cialis, if you have to get Cialis, then you're not, fully virile, right? But they saw the world as being formed by sex, right? So all of these things have to be universalized a little bit more to be understood.
Dude,
these things represent happiness.
I would probably buy this one. I don't know. Hope that would make me gay. I don't know. It would if you collect like ancient relics and you came across one that came from like, sometime AD or no, BC. What if you found one?
What do you find with the Priapus stones, right? So you have the Herm stones, which are like Hermes, and these often had phalluses on them as well.
Where's the rooster
stone? Well, they've got rooster legs sometimes.
Someone said there was a rooster. Was it the one with the rooster? That's a man. Or is it a rooster? I don't know. All right.
Interesting.
It's enough of. Wow, man. That's crazy. There's so many of them.
Right. So they're not experiencing the world the same way we are. They're looking at it very differently because they don't get hung up on genitalia the way we do. They celebrated it, which is one of the reasons why it was easy for prudes to come in there and say, well, you're all evil because you celebrate this stuff. And it's like it's a part of your body. It's a part of your life. It's actually one of the central points. Again, Deus penetralis. It's the central idea is to breed, is to make more of yourselves. It's very different from looking at the world from the way of, oh, one word brought everything into being. Even that can be seen as the Deus penetralis, because the word becomes the creator, right? So even in the way that they talk about it in the Bible, it's also very penetrating. So at the same time, the altar on sacrifices were offered to the domestic gods, the Hestoichi or the Hephaestoi. Hestia was looked at upon presiding at all sacrifices, and the goddess of sacred fire of the altar. She had a share in the sacrifices in all the temples of the gods. Hence, when sacrifices were offered, she was invoked first. First part of your invocation had to be to Hestia. Again, she was the firstborn of these gods. So that's
right.
A very important part of it.
Okay. I didn't think about that.
Right. So all of this stuff is very self-referential and highly symbolic. So
yeah, I'm starting to see that.
Right.
So wait. So who were her siblings? Who are the children of Cronus?
Well, you've got Hera. Well, there's a section later on in the Homer Iliad, but yeah, basically all of the Olympians, all of the
Zeus, Hera, Hestia,
Hephaestus. Nope, not Hephaestus. Let me see. Well, I forget. Let's go down and find out. Poseidon, yeah, that was Hades. Also.
Hades, right? Okay. I can't think of any other ones.
These can be seen as like the 6 planets too. So there's that as well.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the Mesopotamian myth. So.
Right. Solemn oaths were sworn by the goddess of the hearth, and the hearth itself was the sacred asylum where suppliants implored the protection of the inhabitants of the house. A town or city is only an extended family and therefore had likewise its sacred hearth, the symbol of a harmonious community of citizens of a common worship, common ancestry, common worship. This public hearth usually existed at the praetorium of a town where the goddess had her a special sanctuary under the name of Puritanitas, with the statue of the sacred hearth. There, the Partanes offered sacrifices to her upon entering their office. This is also very related to the idea of Aphrodite too, right? Mm-hmm. Because Aphrodite, going back to the Mesopotamian version, she had her own house, right? She had her own village specifically dedicated to that goddess. It was about the space itself. Goddess worship is architecture.
Well, this is also the genius loci, right? It's like the spirit of the place, the spirit of your house.
Bingo.
Dude, okay, so we were spot on with the 5 that we had guessed: Poseidon, Hestia, Hera, Zeus, and Hades. And then the other 2 are actually 2 we've covered on Rustic Gods: Demeter and Chiron. So there's 7. So yeah, it's the same as the Sumerian with the 7 planets.
Right. So as this
with the creation myth.
Right. But all of this stuff, again, syncretism was their religion back then. So they were looking for ways of incorporating as much meaning and material with other people without worshiping their gods. So to say this is that is not accurate. What they're doing is they're making it theirs and they're making it distinct. And so they're horse trading between which aspects they allow into their society and which ones they get rid of, because that is how they determine their distinctiveness. So as this public hearth was the sacred asylum in every town, the state usually received its guests and foreign ambassadors there. And the Prytanis had the part of the hosts. When the colony was sent out, the immigrants took the fire which was to burn on the hearth of their new home and their new mother town. Right. So what does that go back to again? The Olympics. Right. So it's not just, you know, all of the ideas of the light bringer, right? It's not just that. It's not just Prometheus. It's also Hestia, right? Because it's self-referential through the flame. Where you bring your flame, that is where your home is. So,
yeah,
it was beautifully symmetrical. If ever the fire or the hearth became extinct, it was not allowed to be lighted again with ordinary fire, but with fire either produced by friction or by burning glasses, drawing fire from the sun, the soul, the source of distinctiveness. Right? The mystical speculations of later times proceeded from simple ideas of the ancients and assumed the sacred hearth not only in the center of the earth, right, but even in that of the universe. So there's a sacred center to the earth and there's a sacred center to the solar system. And all of these are the burning hearts of them. And we've lost track of that over the years, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The mystical let me see. The center of the earth, even of the universe, and confounded Hestia in different ways with other divinities such as Kybele, Gaia, Demeter, Persephone, and Artemis. Again, it's back to that virginal aspect and also this heart aspect. There were but a few special temples of Hestia in Greece, as in reality, every Parthenium was a sanctuary of the goddess. So they had that in every temple, was the Parthenium sanctuary of Hestia. As a portion of the sacrifices to whatever divinity they were offered and belonged to her. There was, however, a separate temple of Hestia Hermione, although it contained no image of her, but only an altar. Her sacrifices consists of the primite of fruit, water, oil, wine, and cows of 1 year old. The Romans worshipped the same goddess, or rather the same idea, embodied her under the name of Vestia, which is in reality identical with Hestia, but as Roman worship of Vestia differed in several points from that of Hestia in Greece. Now, you had something picked out that sort of showed the distinctiveness from Hestia to Vestia.
Was that the picture?
I don't know. You said you had a website pulled up that mentioned it. I didn't know.
Oh, no. Well, that was the one I had showed you earlier. It was that picture beside this one right here. And so I don't know it just said something about Hestia and Vesta, how similar they were. It was just, so this was just the other picture that I had found. I don't know if it was something that you could elaborate on.
Well, again, this is more of the Roman style. You can tell with the colors used.
This is Vesta.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And, they were much more earthy in Rome and a lot less flashy. They had lots of flashy colors in Greece, but Rome was all about, if you think about the difference between Mars and Ares, right? So Mars was a older man and wise. It was more like a combination of Ares and Athena, but Athena was seen as more of a defensive force, whereas Mars is seen as like the attacking force. In terms of Rome, it makes sense for Mars to be their god because
the field in the men attack.
Right. Well, in Greece, they eschewed battle. They didn't want it. They thought that going out and attacking people was unwise. And
who?
So Ares. Well, in Greece, they had Ares as a young kid, like a young shithead kid. And so he was like a 15-year-old who would go out there and just bring chaos to an orderly civilization through war.
Where do you find them talking about that?
We can go over to Aries on his page, but yeah, it's yeah. Well, let's finish up with this one. Maybe we'll get in the gods of war next time. I think that would be fun.
No, that'd be awesome, dude. Pull this back up. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I can close these pictures out. Yeah, you could definitely tell that the one that looked like it was on a tapestry of Hestia compared to Vesta, it looks like it's done on cloth, and the one of Vesta is done on like stone or rock.
Right. So this is from Hessian Theogony. This is the 453rd, I guess, paragraph. But Rhea was subject in love to Kronos and bare splendid children, Hestia, Demeter, gold-shod Hera, and strong Hades, and the loud crashing earth shaker Poseidon, and the wise Zeus. These great Kronos swallowed as each came forth from the womb of his mother's knees, and therefore he kept no blind outlook, but watched and swallowed down his children. As the years rolled on, great Kronos, the wily, was beguiled by the deep suggestions of Gaia, the earth, and brought up again his offspring, vanquished by the arts and might of his own son. And he vomited up the first stone which he had swallowed last. Again, he mistook Zeus for a stone and swallowed it down. Nor yet does the pure maiden Hestia love Aphrodite's works. She was the firstborn child of wily Kronos, and youngest too, by will of Zeus, who holds the Aegis, a queenly maid, whom both Poseidon and Apollyon sought to wed. But she was wholly unwilling, nay, stubbornly refused, and touching the head of her father Zeus, who holds the Aegis, she, that fair goddess, sware a great oath, which has in truth been fulfilled. And she would be a maiden in all her days. So Zeus, the father, gave her a high honor instead of marriage, and she has her place in the midst of the house, and the richest portion in all the temples. Of the gods, she has share of honor among all mortal men. She is chief of the goddesses. Of the three, Aphrodite cannot bend nor ensnare the hearts. So what she's saying is that she is loyal to the hearth. This is one of the things that she's doing in Olympus, is she's minding the hearth. She's keeping the fire going at Olympus as well. So this is from Pseudo Apollodorus. It's pretty much the same thing. Well, it's slightly different. There's a prophecy in here as well. Pseudo Apollodorus, Bibliotheca. Then married, let me see. He, Kronos, then married her sister because both Gaia, earth, and Uranos, heaven, had given him prophetic warning that his rule would be overthrown by a son of his own. He took to swallowing his children at birth, and he swallowed his firstborn daughter Hestia, then Demeter and Hera, Poseidon and Hades. When Zeus was grown, he engaged Oceanus, daughter Metis, as a colleague. She gave Kronos a drug by which he was forced to vomit. Forth the first stone, and then the children he had swallowed. With them, Zeus fought a war against Kronos and the Titans.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to say, where are we? Here we go. Yeah, Q.
But it should be noted as well that the golden age for mankind was under the rule of Kronos. Right? So the golden age of mankind, in other words, the Garden of Eden, was under the rule of Kronos. So when you see the black cube everywhere, these people are wishing to bring back the golden age, this idea of paradise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the
Heaven on
paradise,
earth.
right?
Tikkun Olam.
Tikkun Olam, communism, right?
Yeah, man. Hey,
Christianity, you've
I mean,
got
Q just
heaven
brought
on
up gods of war, like I mean, and that would be El, would be the equivalent to Saturn, right?
right.
Yahweh, and Baal being, I mean, Baal is what means Lord, but the deity is an Akkadian deity, Bel, who you do see in the Bible. I've confirmed this many times on my Elohim etymology early on in Grey Pilled, that it is that is the equivalent to the Sumerian deity Marduk. Who in the Hebrew, and that whole theology and in their, in their mythology, that's their Satan, right? That's one of their Satans. Because,
Right.
Satan is another term that means something, right? Like Bel or Baal means Lord. So you have like Inki is a Satan. Marduk is a Satan, like an adversary of the other side of the pantheon, who I've identified with Enlil and his sons, Ninurta and Ishkur and what's his name? The Islam moon god, Nanarsin. Nanarsin. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's like when you give worship to one of the sons, you give worship to his father, right? His father, Enlil or El, I think. That's just my research that I've done. Don't take it from me. But when you get into it, I think Bel is the storm god, but so is Yahweh. So they're both storm war gods.
Right.
It's just, which one are you going to worship, right? That's that whole dichotomy right there. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Again, the gods and goddesses that changed from one culture to the other represented a type of, cultural diffusion where their gods, the ones that they were believing in, now had to change as the people changed and became distinct from one another. Right. So when we're talking about the syncretisms in the Bible, where first he starts out as the Elohim and then he transforms over into Yahweh, these represent a kind of cultural diffusion for them. Right. So we can find the Elohim in the Canaanite pantheon. Right. They're right there. So we can find Yahweh as, son of Baal in this other Canaanite pantheon.
Dude,
it's right there.
That Canaanite pantheon is key. People discard it because they're like, oh, it was the Greeks. And you're just like, no, dude, like you have no idea. Like when you really get into it, like from the symbolism to what they like, to the garbs of the priests or rabbis, whatever you want to call them, like it's clear cut who, they're worshiping. Obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
If we got time though, I got a great Alex Jones clip that we can get into.
Please. Yeah, man. Please. What is he blaming it all on pagan Europeans?
Yes, sir.
Wow. And I said this the other night, I'm convinced now that he wasn't even he didn't sneak into Bohemian Grove. He was fucking invited and he went, hey, I got a great idea. Let me record it and act like I sneak in and we'll start this whole, yeah, man. Hey, his father was in intelligence. I'm not suicidal, guys. I have a beautiful family. I'm very happy. I'm spiritually enlightened and I'm living my best life. And Grey Pilled is on the rise. We got merch. I'll share it in a little bit. I'll stop talking about it. But yeah, here. Do you want to pull it up or?
Oh, well, let's go over Hestia and our old friend Priapus, because there is an account of them having an interaction. So, should I omit or recount your shame, Red Priapus? It is very playful, tiny tail, coronated Kybele, or Rhea. Again, Kybele and Rhea are pretty much interchangeable, so that the wife of
Rhea, hold on.
Kronos.
Who's Rhea?
Wife of Kronos.
Okay.
She's the one who gave birth to all of the Olympian gods, also known as Kybele. Also, if you go back to the Venus of Willendorf, that was like the earliest representation of Kybele. So we're talking about the mother of the mother of the mother of the mother 40,000 fucking years ago when you're talking about Kybele, right? So, anyways, coronating Kybele with her crow of turrets invites the eternal gods to her feast. She invites two satyrs and nymphae, rural spirits, Rustic and Numina. Rural spirits, Rustic and Numina. Silenus is present, uninvited. It's not allowed and too long to narrate the gods' banquet. Night was consumed with much wine. Some blindly stroll shadowy Ida's dells or lie down and rest their bodies on the soft grass. Others play or are clasped by sleep, leak in their arms, thump in the green earth with triple quick step. Hestia lies down and takes a quiet, carefree nap, just as she was, her head pillowed by turf. But the red savior of gardens, Priapus, again, right? The Priapus stone is the savior of gardens. That's what you use to pull out his penis and smack somebody with. Prowls for nymphae and goddesses and wanders back and forth. He spots Hestia. It's unclear if he thought she was a nymphae or knew it was Hestia. He claims ignorance. He conceives a vile hope and tries to steal upon her, walking on tiptoe, as his heart flutters. By chance, old Silenus had left the donkey.
These fucking donkey motifs, Headless.
Back to the donkey, boy.
Dude, I'm convinced, man. What was the Bible translated from Greek? You know,
right?
I mean, dude, and then, I mean, don't get me started on the donkey, dude. You get into, we'll get into Set and all sorts of stuff. But dude, and then we got the golden ass that we've been reading on Gods of the Morning Wood. So Priapus, obviously, bunch of donkey stuff, guys. Sorry, I so many donkey motifs. Hey, quick question before I forget,
because they don't study this stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, hey, is Rhea Juno?
No.
Is that, or would Juno be equivalent to Hera?
Juno's Hera. Yeah, Hera.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me see. So we're at the donkey. Old Silenus left his donkey he came upon by a gently burbling stream. I love the word burbling. We've gotten rid of it entirely. It's strange. The long Hellesport god was getting started when it bellowed in untimely bray. The goddess stares up, frightened by the noise. The whole crowd fly to her. The god flees through the hostile hand. So this donkey brays just at the right time for everybody to wake up and see big old, donkey dick himself going for Hestia, who is consecrated and holy virgin, right? This would be the highest form of unholy act that he's about to attempt on her when the donkey brays and he has to run away.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I tie this back to the rustic gods. But there are a lot more Orphic hymns on here and a lot more attempts to embody the holiness of Hestia. And it's
who would Rhea be? Who would she be equivalent to?
Kybele.
Kybele. Okay, thank you.
Right. And from Kybele, though, if you really go back, like this is Venus of Willendorf. Have you ever seen those?
No.
Ooh.
I'm wrong about this right here. Okay, dude. You
gotta check this out.
I have to redo these fucking Pantheon charts are wild. This shit's crazy. Either that or I'm insane. I don't know. Maybe both.
We'll find out. But Venus.
I just need to
again,
tighten my shit up, dude. I used to be a lot neater than I am now, but I need to get back on it.
So this is like the Paleolithic goddess herself, right? Can you pull
Your
me
mouth
up there?
It should be sweet as honey.
What?
You talking about Freya?
Oh, it's Vincent.
Woo.
Anyway, so here are the Venus stones, the Venus of Willendorf, right? This was a fertility stone dating back to the Paleolithic time, right? And this became Kybele, right? So when you're talking about that black stone representing something very ancient, now this is, she's pregnant, right? She's gonna have a baby. Like everybody's like, this is kind of weird and stuff. But you see the motif on her head, how that kind of is representative of, sort of like millions of eyes.
Yes. Interesting. It's like, yeah.
Right. But this is supposed to be the mother of all of the Olympian gods, right? This is Kybele Rhea as well. So this is like the mother of the mother of the mother of the mother of the mother.
So would that be equivalent to Gaia?
No. Gaia.
Okay, Gaia.
So Gaia would be even older.
Primordial. Oh, all right. I got you. Hey, we have a Rumble rant.
Ooh, what do we got?
From Q, $5 from Q. What beats Kronos? Time was here before the beginning, and it'll still be ticking when everything is gone. So is Kronos the ultimate asshole, or what?
This is the age-old question.
Thank you, Q, for the $5.
When time and space get together, this is where mortality comes from, right? You have a certain amount of time that you can be here in this space, right? So the idea is, do you thank the gods for your mortality? Do you thank the gods that you can live here? Or do you curse them for putting you here? The Gnostic perspective, which is that creation was a massive mistake by an errant goddess. Or the Greek or pagan perspective that every moment you get to be alive is a moment to thank the gods for. It's all up to your perspective. There is no ultimate answer for that. That is one of the beauties of mortality itself, is that we get to decide our perspective.
Absolutely, man.
Change
absolutely. And, perspectives develop. I mean, dude, hey, look. Some people are on spiritual journeys and perspectives develop, they change, and, we adapt certain things, and, we shed our skin sometimes, and it's all about growing and learning, I think. There's a lot of shit. Pull up that Alex Jones clip, dude, because there's a lot of misinformation put out there, especially right now. And it's going to have people turning on each other and fighting with one another. And, that's what they want, right? Don't believe any of these fucking people. Do your own research.
Especially
Be
Alex
your own
Jones.
hero. Be your own hero. Nobody's coming to fucking save you.
Alex Jones is the spearhead of the new satanic panic, and we have to identify it. Let me see here.
I agree with you. And hey, I'm not saying that there's not people that are in dark cults, and Headless knows this too. He's been, he's talked to plenty of people who have presented evidence of this shit does happen. There are dark entities out there that people, channel, or they venerate, and they, there's some fucked up shit that happens, right? We don't want to get into all that. We're not trying to fearmonger or do any of that kind of stuff. And that's talked about enough, right? Like, I had someone ask me, like, why aren't you talking about the Epstein files more? I'm like, motherfucker, everyone's talking about the Epstein files. I talked about him a couple times, and I'm like, yeah, dude was a piece of shit. I think they were into some fucked up shit, and I think he was bankrolling all of it. Yeah. I'm not going to sit there and like fantasize on how many babies he was eating a day. Like, we were talking about this year, like, I was, at least years ago when the shit was coming out. So we know that they do this shit. It's time to look into how we can counter this, right? This dark energy that is trying to be conjured about and spread,
Right. Because what's worse is not getting justice for this. Now, we're not going to have justice.
Thank you, Headless.
Everybody is focused on, well, we got to go over the goddess of justice then too.
Okay.
We got a lot of Rustic gods.
We can do another Rustic gods. I'm on vacation, I think, in a couple of weeks. So we can, we do a couple rustic gods that week. We could do like a special edition if you want to get a couple guests on the show. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you can pull some strings. You know a few people.
Sure thing. Maybe we get Aseric on here. I think that'd be
amazing. Oh, dude. Aseric, if you somehow see this, man, we'd love to have you on, brother. I just watched your meditations that you posted. They're beautiful, man. And it's great that you're providing content like that. Thank you.
Absolutely. And it's so important right now because this is the stuff omitted from our own history. We are only given one perspective.
Yeah. One view through one lens. That's all you get. And anything else is satanic, right? But that's given to you by your enemy. So
right.
But you better listen to them or you'll burn in hell.
Oh. We got the Bible verses to prove it too. So let's see. Here we go. Here's the Alex Jones clip straight off of Twitter. Right. There is no credible historical evidence that the ancient Greeks or Romans routinely sacrificed babies or children during harvest season.
And the Greeks, they would have sacrifices built around their crops and their cereal crops, their grains. So, every year when they would go to have their crops, they would have a sacrifice. And so the fact that she's saying cereal here could mean that this is a code for a sacrifice. I have your sacrifice ready. We can talk about it tonight. I mean, why?
People don't study anthropology. The Africans, the Middle Easterners, the Romans, the Asians, the Mesoamericans, they all did sacrifice around the harvest. And every culture did this at certain points before they collapsed.
Yes.
So if people have to bash Jews all day, I just call it like it is. The first culture to say we're banning human sacrifice in the written word is the Jews. No. Hey, we've been doing this to Moloch, killing our kids. We're going to stop. And then, of course, later when they go.
Unbelievable. Jesus is a human sacrifice. Jesus
Among
is
them,
human
the Greek philosopher Plato.
With us, for instance, human sacrifice is not legal, but unholy. Whereas the Carthaginians perform it as a thing they account holy and legal.
Okay,
and that too, when some of
among them.
This is a clip from the YouTube series, The Collapse of Civilizations, talking about Carthage. So I just grabbed this short little clip where it proves that exactly what he was saying is 100% fucking false.
Among them, the Greek philosopher Plato.
With us, for instance, human sacrifice is not legal, but unholy. Whereas the Carthaginians perform it as a thing they account holy and legal. And that too, when some of them even sacrifice their own sons.
At first, these rituals seem to have been an authentic sacrifice, giving up the life of one of your own children in the hope of receiving favor from the gods. But before long, wealthy Carthaginians found a way around this. In fact, they seem to have developed a macabre industry, a trade in other people's children for sacrifice.
Epstein warning, Epstein warning. Do you want to cover Epstein or do you not want to cover Epstein anymore? Who are the people who are doing this? Canaanite Phoenicians, who later rebranded themselves as what? As Jews.
The writer so many Plutarch describes this system and gives a sense for the atmosphere of these grisly rituals.
Those who had no children would buy little ones from poor people and cut their throats, as if they were so many lambs or young birds.
Lambs? Lambs? You worship the lamb. What are we doing here?
That's wild, man.
You get what I'm saying here?
Well, look, even the goat, Azazel, right? Like, this goes back into them on Yom Kippur, they leave the door open for Azazel. And that goes deep in, that's ancient Goetia stuff, Zoharic, you get into that territory. This isn't like the Talmud or any of that. That's ancient. And, even in some of their midrashes, dude, like the stories are crazy. Like women, gaining knowledge from angels or fallen angels, stealing their wings and ascending to heaven, Jewish women, and it's just like, I don't know if people have ever looked at some of the midrashes out there. They're kind of like interpreted text, you know what I mean? But very interesting.
Well, it gets worse. Have you ever read Judges 11, 34 through 40?
No, I excuse me, can't say I have.
Oh, you're going to love this one. This one is sick. You want to talk about Epstein? Let's talk about Epstein. Here we go. This is on Bible Gateway. Can you bring me up? I'm not on that tab.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is the NIV version. When Jephthah returned to his home in Mitzvah, who should come out to meet him but his daughter? Oh, I'm sorry. We got to go 30 through 40.
Wait, 33?
Sorry. Yeah.
Wait,
30
it's
through
in
40. Judges 30 through 40. Now, again, yeah, all of the stuff is
okay. I thought it was specifically 33. I was like, no fucking way, dude. It's like the Genesis initiation of Jacob. He's the first initiate when he wrestles with God or whatever, and then they named the place Peniel. Yeah.
Right. But, again, they're just borrowing all of this stuff.
Yes,
okay. So
I
this
know.
is
Yes.
Judges 29 through 40. So the Spirit of the Lord, right? The Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah. He was possessed by the Spirit of the Lord as he crossed Gilead and Manasseh and passed through Mitzvah of Gilead. And from there he advanced against the Ammonites. And Jephthah made a vow to the Lord. This is Yahweh. This is not Baal. If you give the Ammonites into my hands, whatever comes out of the door of my house to meet me when I return in triumph from the Ammonites will be the Lord's, and I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering. This is Judges. This is your book. This is your human sacrifice. Then Jephthah went over to fight the Ammonites, and the Lord gave them into his hand. So the Lord approved of this sacrifice. The Lord said, yes, this is a good sacrifice. I will give the Ammonites to you. He devastated 20 towns from Aor, from the vicinity of Minnith, as far as Karamim. And thus Israel subdued Ammon. When Jephthah returned to his home in Mitzvah, who should come out to meet him but his daughter, dancing to the sound of timbrels? When she was an only child, except for her, had neither son nor daughter. And when he saw her, he tore his clothes and cried, "Oh no, my daughter! You have brought me down, and I am devastated. I have made a vow to the Lord that I cannot break." Again, this goes back to the Delphic maxims. Don't make a vow that you cannot keep. Don't make a vow that you cannot break.
What was the vow in this case, in particular?
Human sacrifice. The vow is whatever comes out of my door, back in Judges 29, whatever comes out of my door, I will sacrifice to you. And his daughter comes out the door. So Yahweh approved. Yahweh said, go on out the door, young daughter, go dance with your timbrels. And then he murders her. But grant me, she said, give me 2 months to roam the hills and weep with my friends, because I will never marry. Specifically, she was talking about her virginity. You may go, he said, and he let her go for 2 months, and she with her friends into the hills and wept because they would never marry. After the 2 months, she returned to her father and did as he vowed, and she was a virgin.
So he sacrificed her.
Vowed.
Why the fuck didn't she run away?
Because this was their culture of human sacrifice. This was their culture of human sacrifice, not our culture. You just saw the Plato quote.
Dude.
We saw this as unholy. We saw this as unholy. This was written hundreds of years after Plato.
In the Volsunga saga, Dude, in the Volsunga saga, when King Sigurd kills the Volsung king, King Sigurd is the king of Jutland, and he basically tells that the only daughter, he has 10 sons and one daughter. Signy is the daughter's name. The 10th son being Sigmund. This is the line that comes down, and the Volsungs are descended from Odin. And so he basically puts these 10 boys out there, Sigmund and his brothers, as a sacrifice to this she-wolf, who is said to be his mother, right? This is like he's serving a higher power in some way. And instead of them all just being sacrificed, Sigmund rips the wolf's tongue out. His sister sneaks honey into his mouth the night before, or somehow gets it in there, and the wolf licks in his mouth, and he bites her tongue and rips it out. I mean, I don't know, man. You just you don't really see in, like, I don't know. You don't see anything like that happening in some of these other cultures, right? That are revered much more than our stories.
Right.
So you know,
if we take the example of human sacrifice from the Iliad, it was Artemis tricking the king of the Mycenaeans into murdering his own daughter. Again, this daughter sacrifice motif. She wanted to do that to him because she was the patron goddess of Troy. She hated him for what he was about to do to Troy. Instead, this is Iphigenia and the king of the Mycenaeans, instead of allowing him to slay his own daughter, she sent a deer for him to slay instead. What does that sound like? Which came first, the Iliad or the Bible? Which came first, the Iliad or the Bible? We know it was the Iliad. So this idea of being against human sacrifice came from our people. They took it as a sign that they need to stop doing this. So they had polemics against it because this was their society. Our society had been specifically against it for hundreds of years when it came to the Carthaginians, the Canaanite Phoenicians. They still have tuffets full of child bodies over in Israel and Lebanon. They were the ones doing this, and he said exactly the opposite. Because he's got to scapegoat us so that we don't know the truth of our own history.
Why wouldn't the daughter have just run away, dude? I just don't understand why she didn't run away. That's sad. And there was like no heroic man there to like rescue her. Like you don't see any of that in those stories ever.
Where were the heroes?
Where? No. That's what I want to know.
They were possessed by Yahweh when they made a vow to murder their own children. What are we doing here? So this is their culture of human sacrifice, and we take Jesus, right, who is the human sacrifice of Yahweh. This is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased.
Hey, who was that you had pulled up, that quote that you had quoted that said that they hated sacrifice, and or that one video that you had played?
That was Plato. I can go back to that.
That was Plato.
Like,
shit.
Do
people not read that, or do people not? What's happening here?
Nobody reads this stuff. Nobody cares. They're reading the Bible and trying to cope on this specific passage. They're not reading stuff from our people because they view that as unholy. This is of demons. They're worshiping the human sacrifice as they're calling the people who banned it first, the guys who said, we are never doing this. This is unholy, right? They were a fertility cult. This other one was a sacrifice cult. There's a difference.
Dude, I've always, and people can say what they want about, what the stuff that I've been getting into lately on the show. Episode 5 of Gray Pilled, I've said this before. Episode 5 of my show was, Is Yahweh a Dragon? Right? With me and Oddfellows talking about that, him in the tabernacle full of smoke and all the offerings of all the animals and stuff. And you're like, whoa, that's a lot of animals, like to feed a big creature. You know, and it's like, whoa. But that was episode 5 of Gray Pilled, and we're into almost at 133.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you take this from a cultural angle, they say Jesus is the last sacrifice. Jesus is the last sacrifice. So what that says to me is that this was still a common practice by the Jews at the time of Jesus, right? Because they were trying to stop it entirely. All the first Christians were Jewish. They were trying to stop it. They were trying to be against it. Now, if you want to get even deeper down the rabbit hole, we got to go all the way up to 1982.
What's 1982?
1982 is the fetus crisis, the aborted fetus crisis in Los Angeles.
What is this?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
Aborted fetus crisis. I know you've never heard of it because this comes from HT, right? The guy who is very much the godfather of knowing this stuff, right?
Oh, who?
The Los Angeles fetal disposal scandal. Uh-oh. Let me see. I'm over on Wikipedia here. Share this tab instead. Here we go. All right. Los Angeles fetal disposal scandal was the 1982 discovery of over 16,000 aborted fetuses being improperly stored at whose house? Can you say that name there?
Malvin Weisberg's.
Oh, thank you, Rabbi. In Woodland Hills, California, he had 16,000 aborted fetuses on his property at Woodland Hills, California. The ensuing legal battle regarded their disposal. We just had to get rid of it. It was called a national tragedy by then President Ronald Reagan, but you know what he didn't do? He didn't notice who was the one doing it. This inspired a pop song by Pat Boone. With the fetuses finally buried in 1985, no criminal charges were filed against any parties. Can you imagine why they wouldn't do that? Warburg had stored the specimens. They're specimens now. They're not children. Improperly, but he had not disposed them. What do you think he was going to do?
Whose kids were those?
16,000 aborted.
Whose fucking kids were those? How many kids have gone missing in? Well, I don't even want to ask that. That's going to probably disturb me. How many kids? I mean, what year was this?
This was in 1982.
You see how many kids went missing in between? I don't know.
Well, these were aborted fetuses, so we're talking about
how many children were aborted in California in the 70s.
Since 1980, women have murdered over 1.3 billion babies. In all history of wars, only about 1 billion men have been slaughtered. So in all of world history, what we've counted up from the estimates is about 1 billion men dying in war, or civilians as well. In this case, women have aborted 1.3 billion children since 1980.
Sorry.
Unfucking real. Now, who pushed the abortion shit in the United States? What group specifically is pushing for abortion in the United States? What are all the abortion leaders? What is their ethnicity?
What was Planned Parenthood, right? And who was the owner of Planned Parenthood, and what ethnicity was she? I mean, I know people don't think that's important, but it is. So, it is. It is important.
Now, Margaret Sanger was Irish, but she was just being propped up. There were 7 other Margaret Sangers on different continents.
Well,
pushing
what I mean was
same time.
The ideology behind her, what she was doing was, Jewish.
No. Well, if you think that the Rosicrucians are Jewish, she became a Rosicrucian later in life.
I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah.
It's something you learn every day. Yeah, man. I learned something about the Templars recently that was very unsettling. So wow, Margaret Sanger was a Rosicrucian.
Right. These are fingers of the same hand, right? All of these things are first culturally introduced, and then all of the people who attack it from the culture where it's not native are demonized as being of Satan, just like Alex Jones did. It's the same pattern over and over and over again for thousands of years. We get the satanic panic, they get to go scot-free. That's why the Baal worship is so big right now, is because they're scapegoating a different group, because their scriptures are based in the group that's doing it. We read it in the Bible.
That's crazy how I kind of just thought that she belonged to the tribe, though. Shout out Sanger, Mrs. Eugene. Q, we all know. No, that's crazy, because it's probably just from like videos that I've seen of people saying she was Jewish where she just wasn't Jewish. But I guess I don't know.
You've got to get to the facts. You've got to get to the facts. She was a Rosicrucian, but the Rosicrucians were very much heavily, again, the only way for Jewish people to have uniting with Goyim society was through the secret societies, through the Freemasons. This was the only way that they could talk and be allowed to associate with each other in secret, right? So from the Freemasons to the Rosicrucians is not that big of a leap.
Right. Oh, no, not at all. I mean, if anything, the Rosicrucians are just one step higher, you know?
Inner orders.
Yeah. When you get to the Rosicrucians, you get into the different orders of knights, right? You can join a certain, and then you know, I mean, you have your left and right hand path, those different cults that are all along that side. But you're right, dude. I mean, it ties to the same lodge.
It's all being propped up by cowardice. It's all being propped up by cowardice. People are not willing to take a stand on this stuff and actually point to what they know, point to the Bible verses, point to what's happening today, because they don't want to be seen as being a monster for pointing out the truth. This is about the pursuit of justice. This is not about a personal vendetta. We've got to see things for how they are. Nobody's heard of this thing. Nobody's heard about the 16. You know, I watched a news report on this where they said they couldn't pull this container off of the truck that it was on. It was too overloaded and too heavy. That's the only reason why they found out.
That video. I've seen that video. There were dudes like throwing up and shit. Yeah. I've seen that. Okay. I know what you're talking about now. Fuck, man.
Unless we're honest about this, we'll never get to the truth. And as long as you keep listening to Alex Jones, who is there specifically to not offend his Christian audience by telling them exactly who this group of people is that has always been associated with child human sacrifice.
So this guy owned the shipping yard, or he owned the container yard?
He owned the container. And
okay, so people just want to say, oh, he owned the container.
Yeah, his property was being foreclosed on, so they loaded up the container and took it away to the container yard to try and dispose of it because, you know, it was junk at that point. He was being foreclosed on, and they couldn't lift it with the crane. It was too full of baby bodies.
Dead babies just fall out, dude. That is fucking disgusting. Also horrifying, mortifying. Fuck. Well,
yeah. So
may all those little baby souls rest peacefully. Hopefully, I hope. Oh God, man, and you know, and I know, guys, we took a little dark turn in the show. If you've watched, you know, I mean, we're on a cult reject, so I mean, you know, you never know what to expect. But if you watch Grey Pilled at all, you know, we also talk about a lot of shit that, you know, people won't dare to go into, right? And so, yeah, man, this shit is it's disgusting, and these people should be put down like dogs, dude. Worse than dog. I mean, like they should be fucking like what is it? hung, drawn, and quartered.
Right. And
Bring
we're
back
not gonna
quartering.
we
4
can
horses.
see this with the Trump administration. We are not going to get justice from any people in power. They're put there by this cabal. They are put there specifically to run defense for people like Jeffrey Epstein. And what a lot of people are missing from the Epstein trial is they think it's all about blackmail. Nobody's saying that maybe it's because they like it. Maybe they do this stuff to kids because they like it. They assume
It's genetic.
Who knows? All I'm saying is that maybe the people involved in this are doing it not because it's how they reach a higher status.
They're sick fucks.
It's because they're sick fucks. Exactly. And so, on that, next time somebody tries to demonize Europe, say, you don't talk about Hestia that way.
We don't talk about the Hearth that way.
We
don't
talk
demonize
about
the Hearth. Nothing bad came from this. Sacrifice didn't come from this. Sacrifice was illegal. Pedophilia. You would get fucking killed in the worst ways possible. These men would fucking kill you, dude. Like the craziest, I've heard the craziest theories about ancient Rome, Greece, Sparta, all this stuff about them being gay with children and all this. No, at 13, the men were sent out into the wild to see if they could survive.
Do you know who was doing that with the kids? Because
Who?
they make it very clear. Even Plato talks about it. It was the elites. It was the people closest to this group. The sellers of purple. You know what the purple was for? It was
The
for
purple
elite.
priesthood, the elite
was-
priesthood in, Israel. I mean, also in other places like Egypt and, purple has meant a lot. It means it's meant it. I think it's meant that. And I guess it's been mostly the southern region of the world, maybe.
Buying the children from the poor so that they could slit their throats because they like it. That's what they were doing it for. We have to understand that these sick fucks have always been associated with the elites, and it's not a way to get power. It's because they like it.
So people think since it's the ancient past, if the elites were doing it, then the entirety of society was doing it as well. But it's just kind of like how it is now.
Back to the Delphic Maxims. Men, teach your sons. Men were specifically instructed by the Delphic Maxims to teach their sons directly. The idea of pederasty is the love of the children, bringing them up right. People took that to mean that the entire society was gay when it was the elites. It was the people closest to the sellers of purple. And very few of them, they were ostracized by society for those practices, right? There's a great video by Leather Apron Club. It says, "Are the Greeks gay?" Where they go over all of these points where it was illegal. They said you need to cut it out. They had very.
I want to clear that up, man. Oh, yeah.
Sexuality.
I think that we should do an episode talking about that, because I do want to clear that up, because I think everything that's European is bastardized. Now that when you look at it in that lens from, someone's, and I'm not saying anyone's my racial enemy, but if you look into what these people of the Levant are saying, they are saying that, and I've mentioned this on Grey Pill before, that, anti-Semitism is embedded in the European DNA, right? That's what they say. And it needs to be uprooted. So that means you want to uproot my bloodline, right?
Your culture, anything
my family,
that stands in the way.
And all of us, if you have any European, if you're of any, kind of European descent. But I think they feel that way about other people too. They just don't, it's not as strong as it is with us.
Right. Because if you
it is.
noticed, nobody gets more upset than Europeans when it comes to pedophilia. Well, at least Europeans in America. Like,
I will say this. If
the
other
Dutroux scandal, the Dutroux scandal was a very good example of that, where Marc Dutroux was kidnapping little children. They basically had to riot and shut down their government before they did anything about it. The Dutroux affair, if you haven't heard of that one.
Look, I will say this. I think you should handle those people,
accordingly.
I don't want to repeat myself, very viciously. And, because that's how those children felt. Right. But, and I will say this, and this is the downside of religion. Sometimes, somebody will have done some real fucked up shit in the past and then they get saved. Right. And they find, but at the same time, they kind of get found out and all this shit is,
I repented.
It's okay because he's saved now. That happened to somebody, a friend of my family, someone actually related to my dad's side of the family, not in my family, but in their family. I'm not going to out anybody. And that was the case. And my dad actually called it out and was like, that's disgusting. That's terrible. He should be thrown in jail. But right. He had he owns a business.
Every megachurch pastor, as soon as they get found out about what they're doing with children, says, I repented, I prayed to Jesus Christ, and he made it all better. And they just keep going along with it. That's not justice. We have Lady Justice, which is Themis Dike, the one with the sword, the blindfold, and the scales. Well, does anybody know that's a Greek goddess? That's the second oracle at Delphi. Does anybody know anything about her? No, we just think of her as an archaic symbol for justice that basically every judge has to spit on her face when they go into the courtrooms and let these murderers out for doing horrible things to us.
Well, that's like they took the Phrygian cap from us too, right? And dude, oh my God, man. Yeah, and you have, I'm sorry, man, but there's theories of the divine feminine being put out of how it's all demonic and all, and man, it just, if you truly get into the esoteric, everything behind the divine feminine, from antiquity. I mean, like I said, you're looking at it through one lens, right?
Here's a different lens.
How did all these other cultures look at it? It was a beautiful thing, right? It was revered. And in exchange, the balance between men and women was good. Like, people were married, there were families, like society was, it wasn't how it is now.
Balance, nothing in excess. That's the second Delphic maxim, the primary Delphic maxim.
We're going to have to finish those up at some point, dude, because we only got through, I think 70 of them. So
right. And there's some really good ones in there. So this is, again, let's put the new lens that we've seen with Jephthah's daughter, Judges 11:29 through 40. Let's put our Judges 11:29 through 40 lenses on when we're reading this passage for Paul. This is Romans 15:16. To be a minister of Jesus Christ to the Gentiles, he gave me the priestly duty of proclaiming the gospel of God so that the Gentiles might become an offering acceptable to God, sanctified by the Holy Spirit. Do you think that's a burnt offering?
Yes.
Okay. What are we doing? What the fuck are we doing?
Well, hey, what does Holocaust translate to? Burnt offering.
Whole burnt offering. So when you actually get into the Bible, it gets really scary. You've got to read it cover to cover. You've got to find these things. You've got to take note of them because they occur over and over and over again. This is why the pastors at church will only give you a few passages that sound the best and never tell you about Jephthah's daughter, never tell you about the continuity of child sacrifice.
But they know about all of it.
They know about all of it. They know about every single one of it, and they don't want to tell you about it because it doesn't fit their model. It's all ruled by cowardice. They're too afraid to bring it up with you because they don't want to be called heretics or whatever. But essentially, we're in for the fight of our lives because a lot of people believe that this is the truth, right? This is the absolute truth. There is no deviating from it. One of those people being Alex Jones. There is no deviating from it. So one last verse to leave you on. This is a fun one. Everybody's heard of the book of Isaiah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've actually read some of that. That's where they mentioned Bel and his son Nabu, that's how you trace the pantheon, I guess, the Nebo. Which it was fun. Well, not funny enough. It sucked. That school shooting at that one elementary school was at, what was it, like Nebo Academy or something? And there was a bull as like their logo on the front of a school. It's just like, you can't make this shit up, dude. They literally named the school after one of their gods and then have a fucking child sacrifice inside of it, inside of the god. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Because like I said, son of Bel, son of Marduk is Nabu, son of Bel is Nebo. Y'all do the etymology or whatever. But you know, it's crazy how this happens. How blood is so easy for them to get, or like the sacrifice is so easy to attain for these people. It's sick, man.
Yeah. Well, this is a verse I specifically asked a member of the IDF if he said this is what they actually believe, and they said yes, this is what we actually believe. This is Isaiah 60:12. For the nation or kingdom that will not serve you will perish. It will be utterly ruined. Right. And so I asked him, is anti-Semitism when a nation or kingdom will not serve you? And he said, yes, you are correct.
Holy shit.
Anti-Semitism is not following this verse.
No way.
That's the definition of anti-Semitism.
Guys, y'all better get ready for the Noahide laws or whatever.
Yep. And he was pushing the Noahide laws too. He's like, it's so easy just to be
wait, who?
The same IDF soldier in the recording was pushing the Noahide laws. All you have to do is believe in our God, and then we will make you a second-class citizen within our society, and you can flip the light switches on for us on Saturday, and we won't pay you.
And when you can eat our sin-ridden chickens. You know what I mean?
Right. So ritualistically, this has to be understood too. Constantly, we are being told that we have to put ourselves second. Netanyahu and his wife got the key to America today. Or
can you
yesterday.
fucking believe that they do the sin chicken ritual, and then they donate the chickens to the poor, and the goyim get to eat their fucking sins too. I don't mean to laugh, but like, what the fuck, man?
It's a massive humiliation ritual.
That's crazy, dude. I got to get my chicken locally, bro. Like, that's wild, man.
Think about the chemicals in the food. Think about who owns these food processing plants. What do we do?
There's a news clip. I could pull it up. The lady's talking, and she's like, and then we donate the chickens to the people, during Christmas. I'm like, or like during whatever fucking holiday. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? What's wrong
those chickens? Those chickens are the most unhygienic chickens you can imagine. They sit them out in the street for weeks at a time. They're all starving. They're riddled with disease, and then they flush it down the sewers and spread disease all over New York City.
Not only that, but they're full of trauma as well. There's all that energy, right?
That's the sin.
They're defecating all over themselves, and even the eggs that they have out, like they're just covered. Like, it's just no, dude. And yeah, it's disgusting, man. And this is supposed to be acceptable? No.
It's only acceptable. It's only acceptable under one condition. That is, the 60% of us believe that Jesus is the Son of God, and that everything the Old Testament talks about
nothing
is
but
the truth.
Nothing but unfiltered truth here on Occult Rejects, guys. Unbiased, unfiltered, through the lens of many. ZD, what up, dude? It's good to see you, brother. I miss you, man. I miss you at the Patreon shows, dude. Sorry, Headless. I'm seeing some of my people here. If you are on Patreon, go check out the show from yesterday. It was a banger. We did do the Delphic Maxims, Nag Hammadi scriptures, and a little bit of the Sanctum Rectum of Tarot. Sanctum Rectum. I really called it the Sanctum Rectum. It's the Sanctum. All right, fuck, man.
Regnum.
Sanctum Regnum. Thank you, Headless. Sanctum Regnum of Tarot, And I think we landed next week on occult symbolism of animals and adepts in the Western esoteric traditions. Never mind. I don't want to even go around fucking around pulling it out. Headless, I'm glad that we this was a banger episode. Nick really missed out. But what you got coming this week, man? You gonna give some plugs and we'll get out of here in a minute.
Oh man, well, I've got the Aura one. We are good to go for the Aura episode tomorrow. That's going to be a big one. We're going to be talking about how the Aura is shaping our reality, and people just, again, blissfully unaware. They think it's just art motifs from the Middle Ages or art motifs from ancient Rome and ancient Greece. But no, they're talking about a real thing. We've got to reconnect with our roots, and we've got to see these ancient arts and practices as being valuable today, because if they weren't, we would have known about them, right? All of the things that don't matter to your life and don't change yourself for the better, those are all the things we talk about all the time, right? All of the philosophies that don't really aid us in any way, shape, or form, those are the ones that we're getting over and over and over again. So let's get back to something that has been intentionally covered up and obscured so that you can't have it. Right?
Yeah, man.
Let's take it back.
Yeah, let's fucking take it back. Pull your sword from the stone, everybody. ZD, DM me, dude. We'll all keep you in our thoughts and prayers, brother. Hope everything's okay. But dude, yeah, DM me if you need to talk or anything, man. I'm sending out sticker packs soon to everybody. Meaty, I'm gonna put yours together. Nancy, you two, JC, Curtis, Scott. I sent out rats and subliminal. Headless, I'll send you one too. I have to do my sticker pack thing. Yeah, man, it's something that I like doing for people who support the show and also friends of mine. So I'm also will probably be putting you on some things. Your little Headless thing. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see if I can sell some stuff.
Right. Absolutely.
But where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on X at the Headless Giant, and you can also find me on Instagram and YouTube, and also Rumble. Go subscribe to my Rumble channel. I've barely got anybody. Get in there, subscribe to my Rumble channel. I'll try and do some Rumble exclusives. If I can get 40 of you people in there, subscribe to my Rumble, I will do Rumble exclusive stuff that is this spicy and more. So check that out. If you want, cold hard facts about some of the stuff that people aren't willing to talk about, I can do some Rumble exclusives on that tip. So check me out on Rumble. Subscribe.
Absolutely, brother. Guys, y'all go over to Rumble, Headless_Giant on X. Go over there and follow them. Yeah, dude. Our children, we all may have to be seen as monsters in order to, have a future, right?
Mythology is what they tell. Well, mythology is something they tell to children after you win, right?
Yeah.
After you win, you've got to have divine justification for the things that probably had to be done. What's that tell you? Right? So we can write our own myths. We can be our own people again. So
absolutely, dude. We can save ourselves. We can save each other, right? If once we save ourselves, we can help each other. That's the beautiful thing about it. Guys, go check out the Occult Rejects episode from earlier today. I couldn't be there, but I think Nick had a guest on. Yesterday, we had Ike Baker and Petey Newman on for part 3 on a Plato discussion. It was big brain, and I felt like I had a bigger brain afterwards. So y'all go check that out. I was going to say, I got some shows this next week. Greyhorn Pagans next Saturday at noon Central. And then 5 o'clock, I think, sometime that evening, Veritas Road. That next week I'll be having Aeon Bite on. Brandon, fellow reject, Magus in the Media, who does great intros for the show, by the way. Banger intros. He's a bard. I'm an aspiring bard. So I can't wait to talk to him about that. Also, Jacob from Rise to Liberty is going to be coming on. Get our boy on there. He's helping me with a new intro. It's going to be a banger. Played a song on Gods of the Morning Wood that my little brother had made. The fucking sick, just an incredible like metal instrumental. It's just incredible. If you heard it, if you were there, you heard it. It's great. I'll probably play it this week as well. Tune in next Saturday, Gods of the Morning Wood, me, Season of the Rat, Subliminal Messenger, the Cardinal Nick himself, and Headless Giant hopefully will be there. Maybe he'll join us, maybe not. Hopefully he'll join us. The other rejects are always invited. And if you're watching this, or if you're seeing this and you have a show and you're a friend of mine and you want to come on, you're always welcome. Just DM me. And we stream it live, and then it goes private to Patreon afterwards. And so yeah, y'all go over to X, follow me at Graypilled Pod, Instagram, Graypilled_podcast, Rumble, YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify. Really pushing Rumble and YouTube again. Always a little bit more right now because I'm almost to 1,000 on YouTube, so I can start getting super chats. That's fun. And then Rumble, I'm almost over 900. It's really hard to get over 900. It seems like 5 people follow me, and then 10 people unfollow me, and then vice versa. No, this isn't the Crackhead Encrypted show, Pat. That happens once every 3 months. So, and then here, guys, I'm going to pull this up real fast. And Q, thank you for the $5 donation, man. I appreciate it. Getting us to our goal. We're at like 230 for the month. Let me see. All right, I'm gonna pull these up, guys. I have merch. Like I said, I need to buy some. I'm pretty sure it all works. Spreaker shut me down twice. This didn't work at first when I posted the links for the merch sites. They weren't set up correctly. I think somebody tried to order something and it didn't work. But I have some merch on here. Got some mugs. It's cool. Gods of the Morning Wood stickers. There's an Occult Reject sticker right there. Isn't that cool? Gray Pilled hoodie. And then that's the only sticker that's in the sticker pack from Patreon that you can find on the site. All the other ones you got to get on the Patreon to get. Pretty good. We have another $5 donation from Meat Cavern.
What's he saying this time?
Thank you, Meat Cavern.
I'm gonna come.
It says, "Rap, please." I'm not. Mother.
Next time.
I'll play you. I'll play you a rap song sometime this week. I have to stream this week, guys. I am going on vacation, not this week, but the next week. So we will be doing some solo shows, probably some Babylon shows. And like I said, maybe a couple Rustic guys that we can knock out. I will be hopping on some Occult Reject shows as well. So Adrian also had his baby. We love him. He'll be coming back. We're doing some Elohim etymology. We got some little new outlook on things and a little new, a little change in our ideology along the way on our spiritual path, on our journey as that's expected. Everyone's on their own journey. And I've talked to Adrian about that. And he said, that's awesome. Him too. And so I was like, fuck yeah, dude, let's go. And so looking forward to that. But yeah, wait, hold on. I got that. And then I know I have I do a lot of plugs, Headless. Sorry. Then we got this. I really like this stuff. Hope I don't get in trouble for using some of these designs. Probably not. As long as nobody says anything.
Yeah. Be cool, guys. Be cool.
Sigmund carrying his slain son to Odin. Gods in the Morning Wood shirt, dude. I mean, that's good. That's a nice shirt. It's a nice shirt, a nice design, and it's good material. That's why I'm using this side. This hoodie's pretty cool. I like it. And then I got this long sleeve's actually the original design that I used to use for my background with the gray pilled and the Bigfoot, the mushrooms, and the handsome Hierophant cowboy hat. We don't use handsome faggot anymore. I don't do that. I don't degrade myself anymore. Elohim etymology hoodie is pretty cool with the Gray Pill logo on the front. And I'm going to be putting a lot of just different ideas on here, even if nobody buys them. There's one with the cuneiform tablet of Ninma, Ningajita, and Inki, or Nudamud, right? This is Nudamud creating, the waters flowing through him, the waters of the Abzu. And, I don't know who that guy is down there. I didn't even see him, the little guy down there with the knife. Whoa. And see who that is. Anyway, sorry, Headless. And then what else? Oh, this shirt got the original Odd Pill design. Odd Fellows. RIP Cody, love you. Yeah, love it. Like I said, going to be putting more designs out there. And even if nobody buys anything, I'm going to be ordering some stuff because I finally have merch for myself that I can wear myself. Anyway, all right, Headless. Have a good one, man. I will see you this week. Hopefully, guys, we'll see y'all later. Thank y'all for coming and hanging out with us tonight. And go over, follow us on Twitter at Occult Friends, on YouTube, The Occult Rejects, and occultresearchinstitute.org. And like I always say, until next time, question everything, fear nothing, and stay gray-pilled, guys. Later.